I felt that the city knew that they did something wrong and that it wasn't going to be able to be swept under the rug.
For the first time tonight, we are hearing from John Pope, one of two people who just reached a multi-million-dollar settlement with the City of Minneapolis after their violent arrest by now former officer Derek Chauvin. Both happened before the murder of George Floyd. We will hear more from Pope in a moment, but to really understand what he's been through, you need to see it. We begin our team coverage tonight with a look at the video that led to today's massive payouts and a warning: it is hard to watch.
September 4th, 2017, Officer Derek Chauvin and a second officer arrived at the home of 14-year-old John Pope on a domestic assault call. After interviewing the mother, Chauvin confronts the young boy in his bedroom, sitting on the floor.
Why don't you stand up for me? I'm fine. No, you're under arrest, so stand up.
I'm not under arrest.
Yeah, you are. Stand up.
My mom is drunk. You can call her brother.
Stand up.
She assaulted me.
Stand up.
The video shows Chauvin using what's called a C-choke on the boy's neck and striking him with a flashlight.
Please tell them I didn't do nothing. I hurt my son. Please tell them. You gotta tell them I didn't do nothing.
Moments later, a rear naked choke is applied by Chauvin.
Please do not kill my son, please.
Once Pope is subdued and handcuffed, Chauvin is seen with his knee on the back of the boy's neck. Attorneys say this occurred for 15 to 16 minutes, almost twice as long as George Floyd.
It appeared to be excessive force to me, yes.
Mylan Masson is a former law enforcement trainer with the state of Minnesota.
It is very obvious that they did not need to choke him. They did not need to hit him with a flashlight, nor put the knee on the neck when he says he can't breathe.
In another body cam video from 2017, Officer Chauvin and another officer can be seen carrying Zoya Code by her handcuffed limbs face down.
You can't let your kids see this, boy. Lift me up. You weak? You strong enough? Ow!
At one point, dropping her on her face.
That's how you gonna do me?
Chauvin's knee is also placed on Code's neck in the prone position. Attorneys say this lasted 4 minutes, 42 seconds. Police also used what's called a hobble device, tying Code's feet to her cuffed hands.
Was she a threat? Did she have a weapon? I'm not sure. But once again, once she's handcuffed, you don't need to continually put pressure on them. You need to just let the handcuffs let them understand that they now are under arrest.
In both instances, attorneys claim, and video partly shows, supervisory sergeants approved these uses of force by Chauvin. Chris Harapsky, KARE 11 News.
I'm Devon Rumming. The man you just saw in one of those videos sat down with me just hours ago to talk about his experience and how he's now moving forward.
To John Pope, Zoya Code, and anyone else that has experienced this kind of egregious conduct at the hands of Derek Chauvin, our city deeply apologizes.
The city of Minneapolis putting its money where its mouth is, announcing Thursday a nearly $9 million settlement in the brutal arrest of 2 victims by former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. One of those victims, John Pope.
Did you ever have any doubt that this day would come?
No, I didn't have a doubt. I felt that the city knew that they did something wrong and that it wasn't going to be able to be swept under the rug.
Pope, now 20, was just 14 years old at the time he crossed paths with Chauvin in 2017, an experience he says still haunts him.
It's not an easy thing to go through because your body tries to heal itself or it tries to protect itself.
Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara visibly frustrated this afternoon.
I am appalled at the repetitive behavior of this coward and disgusted by the inaction and acceptance of the behavior by members of this agency.
The chief says Pope and Code's cases are a painful reminder of the embattled history his department is actively working to correct.
Going forward, we will continue to ensure sufficient processes are in place to identify and intervene early, to prevent misconduct, and to prevent brutality from occurring in the first place.
For Pope, the healing continues, as do his calls for meaningful change.
I don't have the solution to the problem. I can't say it's only reform, but it's a lot that needs to be done.
Now, the city and the police department have announced joint plans through a consent decree to work with the state departments of human rights on an overhaul of MPD's use of force policy, while also placing a focus on transparency and accountability. Julie.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to believe that several people saw that video and nothing happened until now.
Until now, yep, all these years later.
Thank you, Devon.
Yep.
Well, I spoke with attorney and legal expert Lee Hutton tonight about the settlement, who told us he doesn't think these cases would have been brought to light had we not had the George Floyd case.
The monumental verdict of the George Floyd case established a new parameter of how we would hold officers responsible for this type of behavior. Again, that verdict was the first that we've ever seen in Minnesota, and the first that we've seen across the country. And so without that verdict, there was no standard. And so now we're using that standard to go back and basically cure actions in the past.
Well, all this as we're expected to get a ruling on Chauvin's appeal of his state case on Monday. His attorney argues the 2021 trial in Hennepin County for the murder of George Floyd was not fair because the jury was impacted by extreme security measures in place. The state's attorney says the judge used great care in handling the case.